to the August 29th meeting by the Jefferson County Board of Tourism. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For everyone who's come tonight, the minutes from the meeting on 25 July passed around. I'll take a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second. Any questions, discussions? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Treasurer's report.
Okay. So the July innkeeper's tax collection was $67,276.10. So almost 24% ahead of where we were at last year. The fund report shows a balance of $850,855.34. We have two claims for approval that we'll get after this report for $116,248.59, which will give us a balance of $734,606.75. That's it in way of report.
Questions or comments?
I move that we accept the treasurer's report.
Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye. Okay, we have
the other side of it, maybe.
Yeah, we have two claims. One for Mass Chautauqua for $40,000, and one for Visit Madison for $76,248.59. Motion to approve those.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Comments? All those in favor signify by aye.
Alright. Okay, and the last one. We have a transfer request to cover the additional funds that was approved at the last meeting for Chautauqua. So we're asking to transfer $15,000 into the Community Outreach Fund. I have a motion for that one as well.
I move that we accept the transfer.
I'll second.
Any comments? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Anything else on the treasurer?
I don't think so.
All right. Andrew?
All right.
Hi, Andrew.
Officially here. Been on the job now about a month, and so it's kind of been a whirlwind, trying to get back in the swing of things, but had some really great meetings so far. Met with a few of you just to get thoughts about where you want to see things go and some of your ideas and where we can go from here. I think there's a lot of exciting things that are on the horizon. I think there's a lot more that we can try to do for the visitor experience, trying to build up some of our visitor infrastructure, and there's some other tools I think we need to add to our toolbox. So looking forward to continuing those conversations. Right now it's a lot of meetings, it's a lot of planning, it's a lot of thinking, but I think we want to work on what 2023 looks like. I want to start that conversation, start thinking about the budget, start thinking about the visitor's guide, start thinking about projects, like to do some planning, maybe look at wayfinding, look at some of the branding for our community, and so I think all those conversations are going to be coming up over the next few months, and looking forward to working with you guys on that. Already working on getting some small conferences here, some 1 day, some 2 days, some packages like that to help fill those weekday slots for 2023. So that's exciting, and hoping to add those in. I try to keep you in the loop on a few things in between meetings, like the Chautauqua advertising that went out, so you could see what went out to the whole Visit Indiana mailing list. So those things like that, I don't want to bombard you with things, but in between meetings, if it's something kind of interesting or cool, I will send it along so that you can see where some of that marketing is going, and you can see it firsthand. So I know Sarah is out sick. She'll let you know, and I think sent on a report to everybody. But if you have any questions about that, let me know. I'd be happy to answer what I can about it. Otherwise, I know she'd be happy to schedule a phone call or talk with you about anything on the report. The only other thing that I'd add to her report that was not included on there, we're working with the city right now to update the maps, the kiosks in downtown. There's one right here by the courthouse. There's one down by Rock and Thunder and Bicentennial Park. One down by the Attic. One at the Comfort Station. I think there's 4, and we're working on updating those and making sure that they are with QR codes rather than actual business information printed on there, because then they have a little bit more life, longevity, because they're not cheap to print up those high quality corrugated plastic poster boards, and so I think we're going to try and get those so that they have a little bit longer life. So the current ones on there, I think we're done in 17 or 18. I think we were getting ready to need to replace them about the time I left in 19, and then COVID happened and all that, so they're well overdue. So we're working with the city on that. So that was the only other thing that wasn't on Sarah's report that she wanted me to mention.
Any contacts at LTAP?
LTAP, I have
So-
not.
No, okay. I'll get you some. 'Cause some of those midweeks, they will do seminars for people,
Yeah.
whether road building or different things like that. So
Yeah.
maybe that would be a good filler in the middle
LTAP
of the
would be
week.
great.
Um,
Yeah.
So I'll see what I can.
That'd be any
Yeah.
contact that you've got there. I did reach out to AIM, Accelerated Indiana Municipalities, and they're working on something for 23. Reached out to the Association of Indiana Counties and the commissioners. Those are ones I knew from my previous role, and so they're kind of low-hanging fruit for me to reach out and say, hey, next time you're going to have something, let's have it in Madison. So working through those, but any other leads that you might have, let's get them here.
So I don't know, did people print out Sarah's report? Was there anything, did you had a chance to go over it, Andrew, anything in there and all the data that was noteworthy or still too new to?
I do think there's a couple things on there that are important tonight. The Experience Madison Guide, we will be working on that in earnest. I'm working with her on maybe some changes for that for this next year. I think there's some opportunities that we have as Visit Madison to offer some things to businesses that want to be a part of that. The 2028 cover opportunity for the Indiana State Festival Association, their booklet that goes out, that's a really cool opportunity. It's a few years out, which shows the popularity of it, that they keep booking out that far. But I think that would be great to get Jefferson County Board of Tourism's approval sometime before November. Our request to go on that cover will go to their board in November, and it'd be great to get approval from this body before their meeting. And then if they wouldn't take it or something, obviously you wouldn't be obligated to anything. But I think it's a really neat opportunity. I don't know of Madison ever being on that guide, and for the amount of money, the distribution on that, I think it's a great possibility for us.
And that 15,000 would be in the 2027 budget?
It would be, yes.
But it would be 10, right? Because we already approved 5.
You approved 5 for the,
She would continue having that full page on the inside. This would just be in addition. I mean, that's the way I would look at it. I
Yeah.
would take the cover plus.
Take whatever you can take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so there's 5, we
Center
usually do the
Yeah.
full page for 5
If you're gonna
each
take the
year.
cover, that is.
So,
Do we need to have a discussion? I mean, do we need to wait till November?
They have to submit it in November, so we would have to do it at the October meeting, I would assume, but sure. We could do it now.
I mean, whenever I'm looking at it, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Take advantage of an opportunity when it's right in front of you.
That circulation is throughout the entire state plus, right?
it is. And I wish I had some numbers on their circulation on it, but
I can't.
I can get that for you.
Sorry, Andrew.
I make a motion that this body approves the $15,000 for, what's it called, Andrew? Visit?
The Indiana State Festival Association guide.
Yep, what Andrew just said. For the budget of 2027.
I would second that.
To remind us.
Or whoever.
We'll stay on
Good luck
top.
future then.
$15,000.
Easy for us to do it.
Yeah, they'll take care of it. Yeah.
It'd be a COVID year and then. Yeah. All right, we've had a motion and a second, the other, and some discussion, but not really to the topic. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, so, you got the approval?
Thank you very much. It's exciting. One last thing that I'd add before we move on to another topic. Had a
Want
great,
more money, Andrew?
that's coming next week.
Wrong board.
Had a great conversation with Hanover College. Started that conversation about how we can work with them a little bit more to promote Madison to prospective students, to faculty as they're looking at coming, and how we can not only promote Madison to them, but they can promote Hanover College through us. And so I think those will be very fruitful conversations. And again, that's getting outside of the traditional Madison, Indiana only thing. And I think it's important. Obviously, Madison is a draw, and that's going to be the central draw. But I think there's a lot that we can do to promote other opportunities in our county, including the college. And so I'm working on expanding those, and hopefully we'll have some new things to report in future meetings about what that might look like.
Andrew, I think 2 things. I think you and I have talked about it before, but 2 things with Hanover College that just needs to be repetitive is you have a new crop of freshmen every year, and you just go and post up there and teach the new freshmen this is what you do,
Yeah.
and they don't know any different. So I mean it's key, and you drag businesses with you to sit up there. And I should have been one of those, and I'm speaking out loud, and I didn't this year. And so that's one. The other one is what we created years ago, but with the trolley and that transportation going up Hanover Hill, just having that connectivity, having a drop-off pickup site of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, because some of them, like talking to my sisters and talking to different generations, they don't even get their license now. I'm not saying they as in all of them, I'm just saying some of them don't.
Yeah.
And you have, you have people from out of town, out of state, out of country that live here and they don't have a form of transportation. So those two things I think every year just vitally important for that connectivity.
Definitely.
And along with that, Hanover College's new connection with Ivy Tech and the veterinary program, they're going to be opening up an entirely new audience that they've never talked to before, which presents an opportunity for VMI to talk to a new audience.
Oh yeah. Some really cool possibilities there. They'd love to talk about what it might look like recruiting professors and trying to get them here. Sorry about this. So I think there's some really really good things, especially as we're talking about the trail too. You know, there's discussion about what the trail would look like going from Madison out to Hanover. That's a long-term project, but I think there's some good possibilities there that relate to the college and community connectivity.
Yep.
I think something that's important to bring up with the Alliance as well, because that's not just going to benefit Madison, it could benefit the historical society. It could benefit so many of these groups that come to the Alliance, having like that connectivity.
Yeah, some students may want to be docents. Some, we might get them for volunteers to do something, or if they're in a marketing class or some kind of an economics class, let's partner up with them to get them some hands-on experience here in the community. That one was exciting, so I wanted to be sure to mention it and just watch for more to come out of those conversations.
I mean, do they do freshman orientation when they get here, or is it something they do beforehand, or?
They
Yes
do,
and yes.
yeah, they have some, they have some prospective student days, then they have like enrolled student days, and then once they get on campus, I think the freshmen come a little bit earlier. So there's,
I can answer that.
yeah,
Come behind the camera, you got the
Yes.
camera.
That would be an extreme close-up. You have prospective students come on campus and they take tours and stuff, and then when they enroll, they have days that they come onto campus, and I think I forget what they call it, but then they register for their
Days.
classes. I don't know. But then the week before classes, which was last week, is August experience. So they have that whole week with the freshmen to orient them to campus. They do fun things with them. They have orientation class every day. They go through a lot of stuff. It's like their brains are like exploding with all this information. But one of the things they did this year is they did take the trolleys down. They took students down to Madison, and they could take a tour, or they could stay in town and walk around and then get on the trolley when it came back. There was all kinds of things that they did with them in Madison last week.
and they're working on when parents come to also bring the parents down. And so that's another opportunity, not just for the students, but for the parents. They know they want to come back then and visit their students and stay here in town for the weekend rather than maybe just coming in, going to a football game and heading out. So there's, I think, some really great opportunities. They're very interested in what they can do to work with us. And I think even continuing the conversation about a shuttle or trolleys on a regular basis out there could be a really neat way to partner with that.
Yeah, I think anything that we can do there, if it's just almost a table or a booth or several of those in this
Yeah.
Panther Days, we do something like that. A lot to do. We can try like that, so people can talk about troubles, not just college, but other places. Other half, sorry. I have an Alliance update. We had a meeting, but I don't know if anyone was able to attend. A meeting just,
I think the next one's in October, isn't it?
Next
No,
one's October.
yeah,
didn't they have one? Or was-
we had one.
We had one since the last.
Yeah, we had one. When was it? Like 3 weeks ago?
After our last meeting?
I thought they reported that it was
I think we already reported on that.
and then
Yeah,
the next
we're
one's in
not-
October.
Okay.
It was in July, and then it was 3 months from then.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I thought that was what I saw in here too.
Yeah.
Any new partnerships or projects? Good thing, good way.
I don't, but.
That sounds like you do.
No, there's no partnerships or projects. I know that we had agreed to do quarterly, and just being here via phone last week, and it sounded just a little bit confusing, just a little bit on my end, just because I wasn't getting all the information. I know we're gonna have these last minute things come up, I get that. But I think we need to set something where we're not all just going, what do I do? You know, or what's this for, and this for, So I don't know if we can,
I mean,
I mean, I don't know how to do that last minute, but I know like with regatta, we met like a week later and we discussed it, you know, just kind of amongst us and discussed it, so we had some of that information and we were knowledgeable. You know, I know like with the Riverfest, you know, I was a little confused with money that's gonna go for next year, you know, that they were asking for, you know, because they needed the commitments. So I think that that's something that we just need to be more educated on, and it would help me make a better decision as well. And I don't like to fly by the night, do it, or, you know, I mean, I know we're gonna have
sure,
this.
sure, it's gonna.
But we
well,
did set up quarterly.
We talked about that, yes.
We did.
We've
did.
We've not done that.
We've not done that, so
Well, I mean, I
I'm just
think, you know,
saying,
we-
we haven't budgeted, which I get, you know,
I mean,
and I
we-
know extenuating circumstances call for
I would
something to be
suggest,
said right
as we
away,
move into the new budget, that we try to do it once a year to where they apply, and then we could still have
Sure.
some money earmarked for those last minute, hey, this popped up, you know, like the rodeo was new this year, that kind of thing. So if we did it once a year with still the idea to have some funds available for those last minutes, but
Exactly, yeah.
I think we would check off the list of most of the bigger requests that, you know,
So
annual
Sure.
time.
when would you think a time would be to do it once?
Well, I
a
would do
year?
it when we start, I mean, the budget would start in, what, April? So I would sometime.
To do it.
But don't you think that a lot of those events that are happening are gonna need it before April, just for their planning phases? You know, some of the festivals and things that come up.
Yeah.
I just wanted you guys to think about
I
that.
think we need to, I mean, we've got the forms now, let's come up with some procedure and a policy that says, and we can still be a little bit flexible, but just try to lay out some guidelines. So, one, I mean, people, unless they've listened to all our meetings, they would have no
They're not gonna
idea,
know.
because,
Right, and
and
that was,
especially
and
how
that's
we've
on
acted.
us.
Oh, I know.
We need to do maybe a better thing of advertising as far as, you
Sure.
know, these funds are available. I know that with the Alliance, they're going to be suggesting, you know, things that we can do as well. So, and, you know, that will be taken into great consideration, because there's, you know, hopefully still 18 groups that are coming together. But I think just to be fiscally responsible, you know, with the money. And, yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, but
Let's
at the
make
same
that
time,
an
those
action
last minute requests, I get them, but can we have it a week in advance? You
Well, I
know,
think
just so we
that's-
can at
that's-
least look at it
That
and
was the other
go,
issue, we didn't get the application.
yeah, so if we can get that application a week in advance, you know, we're doing everybody a fair
Sure.
justice.
And I think it, as uncomfortable as it feels, we have to say, we're not gonna vote on it this meeting, we'll vote on it next, and if we get one that night. You know, but we need to,
Yeah,
one, we need to be consistent in that matter, and I think to do that, we need to come up with
right.
I hate to have more, but a policy or a procedure or something that we publish and people can see.
Yeah,
I agree, we need to do it once, I don't know, maybe twice a year, do it in January and then June, and then,
mhm,
you know, because there are going to be some that are coming out early,
yeah,
and so that kind of gives them two opportunities.
right. And I know that you guys field a lot of those requests at VMI. So, you know, if we came up with that, then we would, you know, you would be executing that with these people,
Yeah,
you know?
I think any role that we can play to help you all. I know you're a volunteer group, you don't have a team or a staff or anything that we can do to help get that word out, or even help gather those and bring them together for you, we're happy to do that, so.
I don't think I would be in favor of doing it once a year, because I think a lot of these organizations figure out what their needs are as they move through the year. So I certainly would want to give them the opportunity more than once a year. However, I think it's more than rational for us to say to them, you make your presentation on month A, and we're not going to vote on it till month B, to give us time to consider, to vet the request, and to make sure that we're in a position to fulfill your request.
And I think that's what we did discuss before, was getting the request and then the following month approving. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that's what we discussed
Yeah, we
doing,
did.
so.
I mean, there's a nonprofit fund that the county has, and we try to send out a letter. I'll grab that and see if that's got some useful stuff on it, but we
Okay.
try to get them. And I think we need a little information from them other than, we need this money, you know, what are your finances right now? Because that's something we've tried to do, is there's some people that are sitting on a bunch of money, and, you know, we try to focus more on projects. I know that's not always going to be the case here, but, you know, just try to, looking at those sorts of things, because when it comes down to, you know, we know there's going to be a bunch of folks that are going to need it, but what do you have that you can use already? And then, so
Sure.
I will get that letter and send it out to folks. Anybody want to help putting together a policy or procedure on something like this?
I don't know why your eyes are on me right now.
You brought it up.
I know, just because you bring it up doesn't mean you're gonna do
That's
it.
usually
Yeah.
the way it goes.
That is the way it goes, yeah. Now, I was a little hesitant to start.
Just because of that.
Yeah, because of that.
But it's right though, we ought not just sit here and talk about it, we ought to put together an action plan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we need to get it out towards the end of the year. We don't need it absolutely next month, but we need something.
Yeah, but Jim, I do agree with maybe twice a year. But at the same time, that being said, most of these events that just happen, we'll get a good grip on where they're sitting for the following year. You know, and especially if they're filling out the form that Sarah, you know, the EIC report.
Yep.
You know, then they should be able to come back. And I think it's really important, when we talked about that, coming back. It was nice to hear the rodeo when they were here saying, here's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
That's good to follow, and like you said, sending those things in between, it's good to see where they're at, what they're doing, where they're lacking. You know, so like Riverfest in Chautauqua, hopefully they will come to us in January, because they've had 6 months to know what their economic impact, what they brought in. I know they won't know how many booths they sold, I get that. You know, that they're not gonna know that closer to time, but, you know, we should be able to project. They should be able to project what they're doing, so.
Part
you
of
know,
the problem has been, everybody's been thrown off balance by the COVID
Oh,
situation.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason we've been flexible, you know, with some of these is because of that.
I don't think you're gonna have much pushback with, you know, the process, as long as there's an agreed upon process, and here it is. And then Andrew gets it out, Dave gets it out, and whether it's 2 times, 3 times, whatever it is, you know, it's just gotta be, you've gotta have some form of minimal regimentation, just to be able to say,
I
here's
think
the
it's the
times.
smaller groups I worry about that won't know that's happening. You know, somebody that just comes up with a great idea and they're doing it in a month and, you know, don't have that foresight. to see that. But that's when we would send them, you know, to BMI hopefully.
or are you taking it
Looks like
on? I'll help.
it. Okay, there we go. Eye contact is always good, Ron. Okay, so, policy form?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you the letter that we send out, just if that gives you any ideas. I mean, I think something we just hit on that needs to be,
I would think the community foundation would have
yeah,
some
they may have
resources for
something
you.
to help. I think the environmental
For their,
calculator or whatever that would encourage them to use it, plus that would also, they'd have it and they could show.
For what?
I think.
The EIC.
The EIC, okay, and that would be actually good, because then we could send them your way. You know, and that would,
Well, that would get people
that kind
using
of
it,
gets the
and
process.
it would be
Yeah.
somewhat of at least a more standardized way to evaluate economically what each event has in the community, so. Like I said, I think if we get it in November and then get it out to folks right after that in December, and they'll have a chance, and if it's January, February that next year when we have the first one, you know,
I think the beautiful thing is that the Alliance continues and they have that many groups. They can present it in that quarterly meeting, and those groups have it at their hands. You know, I know Austin has reached out to me, and that was one of my points was, she's like, okay, do you have set times, and do you have, yeah, I'm supposed to be quarterly. We're working through this right now, so, I didn't like my answer.
Right,
But
right,
I don't wanna,
right.
you know, go through that again. I wanna know, you know, what I can tell people.
If we do it twice a year, for example, January and June, I want everybody to be cognizant of June, because you can't do it June 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. I mean, you're talking about July 4th now, and everybody's gone that week and a half, 2 weeks in that neighborhood. So that's got to be mid-June, early June, you know.
Yeah, and I think, you know, part of the policy will say, you know, it needs to be a week before the meeting, you know, the
Well,
scheduled meeting,
so
give them the dates
I think
of
it
our
says
meeting.
that now.
Yeah,
Does it
it
say
does.
that?
But I mean, so does that mean we make it April or May then? And then October, November is the, you know, for those people that are thinking about coming for next year, that's when they're gonna have to make their proposals. And understand, once again, things are gonna change, but try to stay on that cycle. That way we give people enough of a, April probably works better because May you're in the
Yeah.
holidays as well.
Yeah, May is a crazy time as well.
Well, not to rush you, Wendy,
No,
but
you go right ahead.
having the Alliance meeting in October, do you think it would be wise to have like a rough draft of these
I do,
policies, present
yeah.
to them? Maybe we see what months work best for them too, because a lot of them will be the primary people coming to ask. So it's one thing for us to sit here and assume.
So if we
what
can
works
get
for
that
them,
by
but
October,
Just
a rough
probably
draft.
would
I like
run
deadlines
it.
too.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
And
October.
I'd be happy to help too if you need any
Okay,
additional
great.
assistance.
Turn that down, she.
I should
she
not
was-
have said yes too quickly, because these two are on board.
We need your wisdom.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
both newcomers.
okay. That's when you get roped in,
That's
you
why I
know
played
that,
a
right?
lot, right?
They did it on themselves.
They did. Okay, so we'll make that a goal again by October, and, so you're thinking November and April?
Well,
I'm just
I
trying
think
to
she
get
said,
it
I mean, if you wanna
I'm just-
propose
just
those and see what,
propose that,
what
okay.
the
It
alliance.
is.
Again, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I
No.
just think it's, here's what it is.
Okay.
But in keeping away from the big holidays is probably a good thing to do.
Yeah, November, I mean, you've got, Chautauqua's not necessarily gonna
Yeah,
have all their
Thanksgiving.
data. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving, everybody will be happy and grateful.
Either the week after or the
The
week before.
week before is usually scary. Sure, sure.
Anything else on that? Future meetings. So I'm gonna be Washington State on the 26th. So do you wanna go ahead and meet, or do you wanna move it? Doesn't matter to me. My alternative would be leave it out, but. All right.
Well, we will be hosting the GM conference for our hospitality company that week, so I probably wouldn't be able to make it either because they're all arriving. But we're gonna have 13 GMs from all over the state coming, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's
I've
great.
never been to Madison before.
That's the week of the 26th then?
Mm-hmm.
All right, do you want to move it to the 19th, a week earlier?
Isn't that Chicago?
It's the 24th and 25th of Chicago.
So it's right after Chicago.
Well,
This meeting
That
will be
would be-
before
Oh,
Chautauqua.
that
yeah,
was
we
the meeting
moved it to the
before?
19th.
The 19th would be before.
So the 19th of September.
Sounds good.
I like to do it like, early in the month so they can have a big number for that tax report. Rather than go through the whole month and then 2 days later we get the month's earnings.
We can do that next year, we can change it from that. So normally you don't, is it the second or first week that you?
Yeah, usually it's the first week. You get the local number sooner than the state number after, typically, that's the way it's been.
I'm trying.
So I'll send you those numbers. I'll send you those as soon as I get them.
It's always sad when you have to remind people. So it is September 19th?
Yes.
I'll be about 20 minutes late, but I'll be here.
This is crazy, but here you go. Now I got a meeting notice coming to you. Or shut. All right, anybody in the audience have anything? Found a house?
Yeah,
You found a house?
yeah,
All right.
Oh, exciting.
we are getting in.
Yeah.
Had some hiccups, so we're still staying at Casa di Madre, but it's good.
Food's probably better.
Yes. Yes. And we're not surrounded by boxes, so.
Laundry's done.
Yeah, that's right. You know what, maybe we'll just stay.
Hey,
A good gig, you gotta keep it.
yeah, I think we all messed up on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, leave this area.
All right.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Is that too easy?
That was, yeah.
Yeah, all those in favor?
Wow.
All right.
Aye.